Welcome to the AKF YouTube channel. Today we are here with Ryan Lee, who is on the autism spectrum. Today we will talk about how he obtained his diagnosis, his perception on the spectrum, and how he identifies himself in society. So without further ado, let's introduce Mr. Ryan Lee. Hey Ryan, how are you today?
Pretty good. How about yourself, Al?
Good. So tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm 30 years old. I did graduate college a few years ago. I'm currently looking for a job. But right now I'm just trying to enjoy my life how the best I can. And I've been planning to go skydiving again because it's the second time I did it. Because, life is just about having an adventure, you know? And trust me, skydiving, it's the best feeling ever. You know, falling through the sky, whatever. And there are other things I want to try, like paintball, or let's see, whatever that one is. But the point is, I just want to enjoy my life the best I can.
Perfect.
I've been advocating for people on the spectrum for a few years now, and I want to make the world a better place for everyone, like sharing my personal experiences, how it was growing up on the spectrum.
So Ryan, when did you get your diagnosis, and who informed you of your diagnosis, and how did it change your life?
Well, I was diagnosed when I was 3 years old, and both my parents told me when I was 14. And how I felt about it, I felt ashamed because even though before I knew I was diagnosed, I always knew I was different. I always felt like an oddball among my peers, always wondering why I couldn't be accepted or why I couldn't fit in. And also, after I knew, I felt more ashamed. I just tried harder to be like everyone else, trying to fit in. But it didn't really work so well. And it put a lot of stress on my system, like stimuli, But I had to learn as I grew up that I can't be like everyone else. I just had to be myself. Being on the spectrum, it's not an easy journey to be, But I know it makes me who I am. And I'm not ashamed of it anymore.
So Ryan, tell us a little about how your life was before you found out about your diagnosis and after you found out about your diagnosis.
If I didn't know my diagnosis, it would have been different because I would rather know what I was diagnosed with than not know because I want to know why I'm different because even if I do suspect it, because everyone needs answers.
So what support did you get for your diagnosis, if any? And how did it help?
Well, in elementary school, I received speech therapy, learning how to pronounce words or whatever. And I did have a therapist in middle school and high school, but I was still in regular classes with everyone. And people used to tease me about not being in AP classes all the time because I thought I wasn't smart as the other kids. But it doesn't matter how smart you are, just as long as you do the work, okay? In college, I didn't have any support, Well, unless I had a letter from my therapist saying longer test-taking time or whatever, or a small space, quiet place. There are most colleges who have autism programs now, but where I went to college, there wasn't an autism program. So I just had to be like the other neurotypical kids, And to be honest, it wasn't easy making friends, even in middle school and high school. Well, even though I had friends growing up, they never made me feel like, one of them, even if they were nice, Because you always want to feel like you belong. I mean, I mostly saw my friends mostly at football games, homecoming, or other school-related events, but never parties outside of school, And I felt left out.
What recommendations would you give to a parent with a child on the spectrum?
Well, suggestion to the parents is that don't make your kid feel any worse than they already do because when they know they're different and they want to feel accepted, and don't push them too hard to be like everyone else because that's just going to make them feel more ashamed. And try to stand up for them when they're giving a hard time because when I was growing up, other parents used to talk about me behind my mom's back saying that I was weird and not like other kids and wouldn't succeed. And that really took its toll on me. But sometimes parents go into pressure just trying to make their kid be like everyone else. And also, why I said don't make them feel worse, because we on the spectrum, we're extremely sensitive to others' negative reactions and we're extremely empathetic, and even though people tell us we're not. You see, like, we feel emotions much more intensely than neurotypical. For example, like when someone tells me they don't want to be friends with me anymore, or says something bad about me behind my back. Like when my heart hurts, I go into this blinding rage and say some mean stuff that I don't even mean. And like it's like a more intense than a meltdown. And I eventually calm down, but something what I heard, it can still hurt, you know? So our emotions carry much more weight. So that's why you need to be really careful how you interact with someone on the spectrum.
Is there anything you would like to tell to your neurotypical peers?
Yeah, what I want to say to my neurotypical peers is that I may be different, but I'm still human and I just want to have a good time. And also, I'd like them to be honest with me if I'm doing something that's bugging them. Like, we on the spectrum, we appreciate honesty. Like, we won't bite, you know? Yeah, just we still want to feel like one of the group. And we don't want to feel like we need to fit in. We just want to feel like we're a friend or whatever. And we just want to have a good time. And that's all we ask.
Do you see any differences between your neurotypical peers and your day in life?
Well, in my daily life, like, just still try to go to work and find something to do. Like, I mostly, when I have nothing to do, I mostly go out and find somewhere to read. Because I love quiet places. For example, I like to go to Barnes& and Noble sometime to read a book or whatever, or do whatever what I want, because bookstores are the most quiet places for you to be, to need to relax. And I treat myself to eat if I want to. And also, like, I just look for activities to do. Like, back a year ago, one of my friends used to work at the Georgia Aquarium and gave me a family friend pass, and I went to the aquarium just to go to the Ocean Voyager because it's so relaxing. And they did say they were making the aquarium autism friendly. So that's why I went there. Yeah. I go to a crowded area like when I feel like I want to have fun, because I've been to concerts before to see a couple of my favorite bands like R5 and Forever in Your Mind. So I don't really mind crowded spaces, Like every autistic individual reacts differently to crowded spaces or stimuli. The thing is, they don't bug me that much, like when I'm just trying to have a good time. But if it does get too much, I'll just walk away. Because, like, everyone reacts differently. It just depends on the person, Autism affects everyone differently. And sometimes when I go to a bar to see a few friends, like, I don't really drink that much. Because if I know I'm driving, I don't drink. But I just still try to enjoy a talk, whatever, play a little bit of pool or whatever, and just do small talk. But there's some things I don't really do much, like my neurotypical friends do.
So do you have any advice for anyone who has just been diagnosed and is struggling with the fear of never being a part of society?
Well, what I would like to send them is that, so you got diagnosed with autism and you're different, but who cares? I mean, there is like no right way to be autistic or whatever, just like there's no right way to be like in a different race or whatever. It's just you being you. So just keep trying to be yourself. Enjoy your life the best way you can. And try to make some friends. Put yourself out there.
Thank you so much for sharing, Ryan. And that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to tune in next time.